So you've done phase one, you've developed a good foundation. You've done phase two, you've developed greater strength, greater endurance, start to work the core. Now in phase three, we're going to get really specific and start to replicate the exact motions of skiing. Start to get your body in the feel of skiing so you have those same feelings that occur when you're on the slopes. And again, we're going to continue to work on more strength, more endurance, keep building all these parameters up, not only to help you this year, but these are things that will carry over year to year so you can continue to ski through your later years of life. These are really specific movements to skiing that start to replicate the movements of skiing so your muscle firing patterns are identical. So let's go through phase three now. So now we're in phase three, trying to build even more strength, high tension loads on the quads and hamstrings. So if you have access to the gym and a leg press, go use it. You're going to put more weight on again, and we're cutting the reps down to approximately 6 to 8 repetitions. But again, this can be done safely now because you've given yourself time to adapt to these heavier weights. Now what you're going to do here is go with a very heavy load that you can only take down slowly, and then you're going to use 2 legs to push it up. Down slowly, and this is a lot of work. Down real slow, 4 to 6 counts, and 2 legs to push it up. 1, 2, really heavy loads here. 3, 4, 2 legs to push it up. 6 to 8 repetitions of that. This is really high-tech training. This is the stuff that the U.S. ski team uses, that Bodie Miller uses, using the really heavy weights, coming down slowly, overloading 1 leg at a time, and then driving it up on 2. They have some apparatuses at the U.S. ski team which are really high-tech, where the machine is super loaded and they do it with squats, and then the machine picks the weight up for them, and all they focus on is the descent. That is very specific and replicates how the muscles work for skiing, and it's, as I said, it's at the highest states of sports science these days. So that's all great, but what if you're at home and you don't have a leg press or a squat machine to use? Well, go back to a couple dumbbells and a ball. Even if you don't have the ball, as I demonstrated, you could just use a slippery wall. But again, this super slow, high-tension exercise involves picking up 1 foot and coming down really slow, where it's a heavy enough weight where you can only go down and you can't come back up. So how do you come back up? Put the other foot down and lift. Down on 1 foot and up on 2. Now again, these are heavier loads. So even with the leg press, if you have any pain behind the kneecap, in your hip, stop. But if you feel the quad, hamstring really working hard, burning, fatigue, that's what you're shooting for. 6 to 8 repetitions. So now we're going to go from doing the super slow exercise that creates high tensions in your quads and hamstrings and hips into something that replicates the movements of skiing a little bit more. You're going to use this stretchy band I showed you, which you can just wrap around something or tie to a door. And if you don't have this, don't use it, but if you have it, great. We're going to just do left to right motions like you would skiing. And see how I'm dropping my body weight a little bit faster, 10 repetitions per side. If you don't have the band, here you go. And of course, you face the other way, and you would do it this way as well. You have the band. The band adds that left to right resistance, kind of that inertial force. You know, because when you're going into turns when you ski, you have that inertial force that's pushing you over your ski. So the band reproduces that, so it's great to use if you have it. Talking about being dynamic and replicating the motions, we're going to use a little bit of hopping here, not too much, but a little bit. Hop, hop, switch. Hop, hop, switch. Hop, hop, switch. Right, right, left, 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 right. Back and forth 8 times to work on that left to right, more dynamic, more coordinated pattern. So when you do fall off balance when you ski, you have a little bit of quickness to help you regain your center of gravity over your skis. This is the final exercise we're going to do in phase 3 for the legs here. And again, pretty advanced exercise, but again, you need it for skiing. 1, 2, land on the left, and try to balance. Okay? Repeat with the right. There's twisting involved here because there's twisting when you ski. 1, 2, 3. Try to balance. If it's hard, don't jump as high. 1, 1, 2, 3, balance. 1, 2, other leg, balance. Back and forth 10 times each. Back to the endurance training. Again, if you have a ball, great. If you don't, use the wall. Demonstrate without the ball. Now this one we got to get more dynamic. Okay, so your goal is to move your feet in this position for 1 minute. Can't go 1 minute. Stop at 30 seconds. Take a break, and then continue. Your goal over the course of 2 to 3 weeks, though, is to be able to go 1 minute aggressively like this. Some of the time, if you want to get away from the wall, do it right here. That's fine too. The key is to stay low, with the back straight, and make those legs keep moving for a minute. Very difficult exercise. Remember, we're still on phase 3, so we're trying to get the highest levels of performance out of your body. So balance, high levels of balance. Instead of just balancing on one leg now, we're going to challenge our balance by moving around with our upper body. Now, again, if it's difficult, start with just trying to balance on one leg and doing this. As it gets easier, start to reach. Start to challenge yourself and see if you can stay balanced. You can think of all the times you're skiing and you get thrown outside your base of support. Very easy to do on one leg, and just start reaching with your hands anywhere and everywhere. And if the faster you move, the harder it gets. If you have access to the gym, sometimes you'll find these toys around. You know, these makes things much harder. Anytime you stand on an unstable surface, just the Dynadisc itself is difficult to balance on, let alone reaching and doing things. So these are great toys to play on as well. The last balance exercise, and hamstring exercise as well, this going back to what we did in phase 1 and 2, which is that reaching forward like this, but again, we're using the band now, so we have more resistance. The band you can tie around something low and just reach. And again, if you don't have a band, use a dumbbell. Grab a dumbbell and just do the same thing with the dumbbell. And just add that component in 10 times each leg.
Now, do it my son.